lead up, not too long ago, I was walking in front of this church. I work in a church here, and I saw a couple of foreigners. I said, "Where do you come from?" The lady said, "I come from Ukraine," and the guy was a big Russian. He came from Russia. So I said to the girl, you see, I said, at the time I knew nothing about Ukraine. And I said, the only thing I knew about it is that Our Lady had appeared. Oh, she brightened up. She said, "I saw Our Lady." That's true. So I said, Our Lady appeared in Ukraine, during the First World War. And she told the Ukrainian people that they were going to suffer a lot and for Christ. But when this thing was over, their duty was to go into Russia and get them to convert. Of course, this idea of Russia converting is, people will say they're already converted, they're Russian Orthodox, but so it's fairly obvious that God is not too happy with Orthodoxy, because otherwise, why would she say that? And what happened is the Our Lady appeared on the roof of a Catholic church, but the Catholic church had been appropriated by the Russian Orthodox, and what happened was that she kept appearing, and thousands and thousands every day, because one thing I think we remember about is Ukraine, it's the earth. So one woman who went there recently said, "Kiev is fanful, the rest is mud," because it's well. And so they were found in the mud, looking at Our Lady for hours. All over you. Actually, it isn't only one place, Fusha, but other places, many places. She appeared to many of them. She told them, "You're going to suffer a lot," and this is what has happened. And but he said, "You've got to forgive them and then go back." So it's part of Ukraine is part of Our Lady's plan for the conversion of Russia. And we can remember the conversion of Russia is a big thing. Fatima, if Russia isn't converted, there's going to be a Third World War. Well, that's more or less what's happened. Anyway, to go back to the Ukraine thing, so what happened was that just before that, yes, I said one guy went to Ukraine. This must have been just not too long ago, and he said he gave a priest a holy card, some little holy card. The priest collapsed in tears in front of him. He said, "What's wrong?" He said, "So you don't realize how much we have suffered, the Catholic Church in Ukraine. We were living in the woods. All the Catholic churches were closed. They're taken over by the Russians and the Russian Orthodox. And the Catholic Church had nothing for, I can't remember, 40, 50 years, I can't remember exactly, but they suffered a lot. But now, of course, it's the opposite. And I think I mentioned, one of the things, when you go to the Catholic Church, they have we all know you have the offertory. But the offertory in the Ukraine church is a big thing, because must have been because when the church was in distress, the Catholics used to bring food and so that in the Catholic churches anyway, I don't know about it, they had a big table, and by the end of Mass it was a huge big pile of tomatoes and alcohol and God knows what else. So this must have been, but they obviously don't need that now, but they still keep doing that because obviously for a long time they had nothing. It was like the Irish under the English. Anyway, so the point is about Ukraine that it's very strange that the thing has appeared, because originally there are different names for Ukraine. You say Ukraine, Little Russia, the Hetmanate. What is the Hetmanate? The Hetmanate is a Polish word which means is a kind of leader, and the word Ukraine means periphery. So it was a kind of, but anyway, the Ukraine was originally Kiev Rus, and then there was a bit of Wallachia, then there was Lithuania, and then there's the Russians, and enormous, all sorts of different kind of people there. But I think as I say, when I went there, I just got up in the morning, and by the evening I bought the ticket to go to Ukraine, only by a kind of miracle, because I got to the airport, I went off the airport to the place to buy the ticket, and they say I was 85 at the time, so 80, I can't remember, and so they said, "You're too old, you can't go on the airplane alone." But some woman just piped up and said, well, I sponsor him. I was told it was a liability. But anyway, when I got there and arranged everything, and I went round, and but the point is I didn't see any fighting. I just saw goat farms, going up on the funicular railway. You can see pictures of these things. And the Ukrainian people, basically, they are miffed because all the good things of Ukraine have been taken by the Russians. The name Ukraine, the name Russia comes from red, oarsman. So the word Russia means red or rowing due to the Viking connection. And so they came down there, and then gradually Vladimir. The thing is, of course, both Ukraine and Russia. There's one side that says if you control the past, you control the future. If you control the present, you control the past. What does that mean? That basically both Ukraine and Russia is just a pile of myths. There was a monk about 1,000 years. He wrote the Chronicles, and he just made up all these stories. Basically, well, I suppose there must be some. No smoke without a fire kind of thing. And the thing was, who were these Russians? Who were? No, for example, the Russians, they don't know what they are. They have an identity crisis. That's one of the problems. So when Putin got in charge, his big job, he said he wanted to change them and control the history books and tell them what is Ukraine. And each time it's a different story, so nobody knows what it's all myths. So the whole thing is made out of myths, fog.